Welcome to today's deep dive. Imagine a bustling city that just functions perfectly. Every night, the garbage trucks roll through, sweeping up the day's debris, the streets stay clean and traffic flows. But when those sanitation workers go on strike, the trash just piles up and the roads get blocked.
Yeah, the whole system just starts to rot, basically.
Mhm.
And according to a brand new March 2026 review from Cellular and Molecular Neurobiology, well, that is exactly what happens inside your brain as you get older.
Right, and so our mission today is to uncover how cycling between eating and fasting might literally force the city to hire more drivers, like cleaning up your brain cells and protecting against neurodegenerative diseases.
Okay, let's unpack this because,
Yeah.
before we can fix the city, we really need to understand why those trucks stopped running in the first place.
Right, so the biological equivalent of those garbage trucks is a process called autophagy. Basically, it's your cell's internal housekeeping system.
Like a literal cleanup crew.
Exactly. When proteins misfold or cellular parts get damaged, well, autophagy just breaks them down and clears them out. So autophagisms, which I saw mentioned in the research, are essentially the cellular garbage bags, right? Like wrapping up this toxic debris.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it. But, as you get older, autophagy gets compromised.
Oh, so the process slows down.
Right, your cells just can't bag up and clear the debris as efficiently.
Yeah.
And this leads to what we call cellular senescence. It's a major hallmark of biological aging, where damaged cells stop dividing, but they refuse to die. They literally just sit there accumulating trash.
Wow. And that brings us back to our city where the trucks went on strike. The trash piles up, creating this toxic environment that paves the way for disease. But how do we force the city to get back to work? We have to create a resource shortage. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Absolutely.
Because to get those garbage trucks running again, the review points straight to intermittent fasting. But wait a second. If cell energy is what powers our biological city, wouldn't starving the cell of energy through fasting actually stop the cleanup? That feels super counterintuitive.
It does sound backward, right? But you have to look at how cells measure their fuel. Your cells run on a primary fuel molecule called ATP.
Okay.
And when you fast, your ATP levels drop, which creates a buildup of the empty battery molecule, which is called ADP. That shifting ratio between full batteries and empty batteries acts as a literal alarm bell inside the cell.
Ah, so the cell realizes it's starving and it shifts its priorities.
Precisely. That alarm bell activates specific molecular pathways, namely AMPK and sirtuin-1.
I've definitely heard of those.
Yeah, they act like emergency managers that immediately promote the formation of more of those autophagism garbage bags. But just as importantly, while fasting activates those repair pathways, it simultaneously inhibits a pathway called mTOR.
mTOR, yeah, I've seen that. It's heavily associated with cell growth, right?
It is, yeah.
So if mTOR is essentially the brake pedal for the cleanup crew, constantly eating means your foot is resting on the brake, telling the body to build and grow. And fasting takes your cellular foot off the brake pedal, telling the body to stop growing and start cleaning.
Spot on. Evolutionarily, a cell cannot simultaneously build new tissue, which obviously requires abundant nutrients, and break down old tissue for spare parts.
Right, because breaking things down is triggered by fasting.
Exactly. When nutrients are scarce, the body stops investing in new additions to the house and finally focuses on deep cleaning the rooms it already has.
But let me push back here for a second. If fasting is the ultimate cellular deep clean, why isn't it just a universal medical prescription? Is starving the cell more always better, or could manipulating these powerful pathways accidentally trigger new problems?
That is the major constraint highlighted in the review, actually. We cannot just universally prescribe this because responses to intermittent fasting vary incredibly from person to person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what revitalizes one person's cellular sanitation department might completely overwhelm someone else's biology.
So skipping breakfast isn't a guaranteed one-size-fits-all fix.
Far from it. The ideal duration for fasting remains completely uncertain. Researchers just haven't found the universal sweet spot that maximizes benefits while avoiding harm.
That makes total sense.
Plus, pushing the body into prolonged metabolic stress could potentially trigger new, unforeseen metabolic diseases. This raises an important question, regarding how we safely personalize these dietary restrictions without causing unintended consequences.
So what does this all mean? For anyone listening, Understanding intermittent fasting gives you a fascinating glimpse into how your diet directly controls your cellular vigor.
Absolutely.
It proves that aging and cognitive decline aren't just passive, inevitable processes. They are dynamic systems we can actively influence, even if the exact dosage is still being studied.
And it completely reframes how we view hunger, too. It isn't just an annoyance, right? It's a profound biological signal.
Which leaves us with a pretty wild thought to end on. If the human brain actually requires periodic metabolic stress like temporary hunger to dispatch the sanitation trucks and trigger its self-cleaning mechanisms, could our modern lifestyle of 24/7 food availability be the invisible force accelerating our cognitive decline? A little food for thought, or maybe a reason to skip a snack.